So, I've been gone for a while, and for that, I sincerely apologize. I randomly and unexpectedly got incredibly fatigued and sick, and I'm finally starting to feel better after literally months of being down for the count. So, with that being said, let's get into why you're really here. 2025 was an interesting year in K pop, to say the least. With 2026 now upon us, I figured what bigger way to ring in the new year than by giving some K pop predictions for this year. Obviously, these are all for fun. I'm not some insider claiming that these things are actually going to happen. I really just want to talk about what would be cool or interesting to see this year. So let's get into it. First, more lighthearted, unique, and fun concepts. I think these kinds of concepts have been pretty popular in 2025, which has been super refreshing. That doesn't mean those concepts are just cutesy either. Groups like IVE and Islet are prime examples to me of groups who've done more generally interesting concepts. I think with the positive response to concepts like this, a lot of companies will feel a bit safer to experiment a bit more in 2026. I think this is especially going to show up in stage outfits, makeup, and hair, which will be super fun to see. I wouldn't be surprised if this came with a new trend, too. Next, rookie groups will get more attention. I definitely have my eye on some rookie groups who I think will definitely be making some big moves in 2026. I also think a lot of people are getting a bit tired of only paying attention to the big four groups and not branching out as much, especially with so much good music out there. Hopefully, 2026 is the year of thriving rookies. It would be so cool to see rookie groups become just as popular as groups under big companies, especially with how far K pop has come. Next, a third or fourth gen group will disband. Now, I feel like this is kind of inevitable, and I don't really have any specific group in mind for this one. I just feel like it's going to be big and pretty shocking. Whether that group has been active recently or not, I do feel like it's nearing time for a lot of third gen and early fourth gen groups to close the chapter on the group as a whole. And it won't be a random group either. It'll definitely be a group who has a decently loyal fan base, which would make things even more sad. Next, two popular groups will collab. On a lighter note, I think I can finally see this happening, and when I say collab, I mean on a song, maybe even a music video. I do think this is more likely to happen with groups at the same company since obviously the industry is extremely competitive. Nonetheless, I feel like this could be a really fun and interesting twist that would kind of lay the groundwork for more future collabs. We've seen groups collab with artists outside of K pop, and we've also seen individual members collab, but I think full group and group collabs beyond special stages at award shows could be really cool. A popular trainee will finally debut. So many trainees have come out of survival shows or companies and just never debuted. I think one definitely will this year, and it's going to be someone people have been waiting for a while. I also think that because of who the trainee is, the debut will perform really well since they were so highly anticipated. I genuinely have no idea who it's going to be, but I think it'll be similar to how people were waiting years for Maya and then she finally debuted in Odd Youth in 2024. Next, more strong debuts and competition. I feel like a lot of companies kind of held back and tried to play it safe in 2025. In 2026, I'm honestly kind of expecting a lot more strong debuts than we've seen in a while, specifically in the late spring and early summer. I think last year was a year of observation and note taking for companies that have high hopes for their groups coming this year. I also think that groups are going to be using social media to their utmost advantage this year, and I can definitely see YouTube, TikTok, and fan communication apps like From and Bubble being used a lot this year. Attention and virality is going to be huge this year. Next up, I think there will be more single albums and frequent comebacks. Tying into the last prediction, I think that the method for pushing popularity this year is going to prioritize quantity instead of quality. I think quality is being worked on behind the scenes early so groups can kind of just rapid fire with releases, specifically single albums. Including debuts, I'm thinking that a lot of new groups this year are going to have comebacks at least 3 times this year, maybe four. Let's say a group debuts with a mini album in early March. I can definitely see them having a single album comeback in late June or early July, then another in October or November right before award season. Next, an old concept will come back. I honestly don't even mind which one, but seeing as it's been 10 years since 2016, I feel like K pop is due for a concept resurgence. I'm not saying I need groups to plagiarize anything, but 2016 gave us songs like Navalera, Save Me, Russian Roulette, Hard Carry, and Secret. I would love to see concepts like those again, specifically Secret, so companies, take notes, please. I'm begging you. And next, a forgotten group will hit it big. Now, when I say this, I don't mean a disbanded group or a group that's been on hiatus. I mean a group that's been more or less active, but in terms of releases, they haven't had as much attention on them as they once did. A group that may have technically fallen off, but I don't say that in a bad way. Some releases aren't for certain people, and that's fine. Nonetheless, I do really think that at least one group that falls into this category will have a major comeback. The views, streams, and wins will return, and they'll finally be back at the top of their game. I do have a few groups in mind for this, and I'm really excited at the thought of them kind of getting a second chance. And lastly, and potentially the most unsurprisingly, fan wars will continue as usual. This is a given. Welcome to K pop. I've been in online K-pop spaces basically as long as I've been a K-pop stan, and the fan wars do not stop ever. I feel like it's kind of just the way K-pop is, which is unfortunate for a multi like myself. Nonetheless, this is the one thing on this list that I can basically guarantee will actually happen to the point where I feel like I could bet money on it. And I won't, but I'm confident enough that if I did, I would be rich. So that's all I have for that though. Let's see where 2026 takes us. It's only January, so we quite literally have the entire year for things to happen, and I'm really excited. If you made it this far, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.